Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Recruits Draftcast. We are at the end of November. December is around the corner, which means World Juniors is around the corner. We have the CHL versus USNTDP game later next week. That's coming up. In 2 weeks?
2 games.
Right. Games, plural. I knew it was next week. You're trying to mess me up, but yeah, 2 games. CHL versus USNTDP. So the 2025 draft class is going to be on full display, and we're going to dive into that a little bit today. We're going to talk about how strong this draft is compared to past drafts. We're going to look at which countries are best represented, which positions are strongest, and of course, we're going to get to our prospect of the week, as well as 2 honorable mentions. So let's get started.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Recruits Draftcast.
With our first pick in the 2022 NHL Draft, les Canadiens de Montréal sont fiers de repêcher from the Slovakian national team and TPS Turku, Juraj Slafkovsky.
The sickest NHL draft and scouting podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Producer Shane here, joined as always by the great Grant McCagg. Grant, how are you feeling today?
Oh, we're doing well. I'm finally all over whatever I had, but now the better half has pneumonia, so I certainly hope I didn't give it to her, but anyway, just got back from the doctor, and she's well, at least now we have a diagnosis. I'm gonna get some antibiotics and get her fixed up. But yeah, it's been a rough last month here, but hopefully we can get her back on track and everybody's healthy and happy.
Absolutely. Well, speedy recovery to Tina.
Yeah,
I know she's strong. She can handle that, no problem.
Yeah, she finally decided to call the doctor. She probably had it for who knows a month. You know,
damn,
those tough Ottawa Valley girls, eh?
There you go, good stuff. Well, she'll be back on her feet in no time, just like you, Grant. Powering through it these past couple of weeks. There, we do appreciate your hard work, but you're back at 100% here, off the IR, back in the lineup.
I am.
First line, hopefully like a certain Patrick Laine soon enough, but hey, that's for Sunday's show. That's for Sunday. It's just nice to see him at practice. I mean, he's doing the drills. He looks good, right? He's working hard, right? Usually you see these guys coming off of major injuries, kind of, lackadaisical, right? Just not really putting in too much effort. Don't want to strain yourself, but he's going hard. He's going hard. So it's fun to see. Hopefully by, next week, next 2 weeks, back in the lineup. I think everybody would just love to see that. The world is better when Patrick Laine plays hockey. We'll just say that.
Absolutely. So you're one of those guys that says lackadaisical, eh?
I don't know. It just felt right. When I can throw in a fancy word here and there, you know what? I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, it's either lax or lackadaisical. But lackadaisical is kind of a combination of the two of them. But there's your little grammar lesson for the day.
Sounded right. Obviously, the Sick Podcast Recruits Draftcast would not be possible without our amazing partners, and so we want to start them. We want to start by thanking them, and we want to start with Insta Customs. Insta Customs, as you know, is Canada's highest rated custom apparel drinkware print shop. Okay, they boast an impressive 4.9 Google star rating. Whether you need printed or embroidered t-shirts, hoodies, crew necks, hats, and more, they got you covered. They specialize in emergency rush orders to meet your tight deadlines. While their store is conveniently located on Stanley Street, downtown Montreal, ordering online, so easy. Order today, printed today, pick up or ship today. Visit them at instacustoms.com. And of course, Cheapest T-shirts, our good friends there who are the same friends. If you're looking for the cheapest clothing prices, check out CheapestTshirts.ca, where they offer the cheapest wholesale prices on 36 top clothing brands and 941 different items. Enjoy their unbeatable cheapest wholesale prices with no minimum order requirements. Order today, get it tomorrow. Don't miss out on amazing savings. Shop today at CheapestTshirts.ca. You know, Christmas around the corner, holiday shopping, probably the place to be. Just a friendly advice there for you all watching.
Mm-hmm.
Grant, the 2025 draft is a strange one, but a fun one so far. I've really enjoyed listening to your insights and doing my own research and watching these young players that are going to be drafted in June here. Obviously, the main topic of conversation is the fact that there is no consensus first overall. That's always fun for us, right? Having this debate.
Yeah.
But overall, let's have a bit of a general look at this draft class and what it's shaping up to look like.
Sure.
I'm curious to hear more your thoughts. You know, how maybe the top 10, top 15 would compare to past drafts in terms of strength. Do you think?
Yeah, well, it's still early, and hopefully there'll be some guys step up. There usually are. There have been some drafts in the past where you say in November, you say, oh, it's not very strong, and then a bunch of guys come to the forefront in the second half of the year, and vice versa. Sometimes you say, oh yeah, this looks like a really good draft, and then as the year goes along, guys regress that you thought were legitimate top 10 guys. So it's a little early, but just on the surface, at least, I think, it may not be a draft that has a generational talent, fair to say. But mind you, there aren't that many, really, when you look back at it, they're rare. A couple of years ago, we were saying some were saying Connor Bedard is a generational talent, and I don't think you'd say that today. He's certainly got a lot to prove to be in that category. I mean, it's a high bar, right? So I would say that I think Matthew Schaefer is one of the best defense prospects in recent drafts. So that's nice. That makes it intriguing right there. Misa, I mean, he may end up getting goal totals that we haven't seen from a CHL draft eligible prospect maybe ever. So that's impressive too. Hagens, especially last year, the point totals he put up as an underage at events. When you consider that, those are pretty special prospects. So it's a decent draft. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call it a weak draft by any stretch, particularly because of the top 10 and the promise that they hold. But if you were to ask me right now, I don't look at it. I don't think it's an especially deep draft. So for that reason, it's strong in Canada, I think, but not overseas and maybe not in the US. So I think the talent level drops off after, whatever, take your pick, like 15. I think that there's, there's going to be a lot of, I think that NHL lists are going to look a lot different depending on the team and needs and what have you. It'll be one of those drafts where 15 to 32, you're going to see, you can look at a draft list, but it's not going to go that way. It'll be all over the place. So that's fun too. It's an unpredictable looking draft at this point, and you're going to see a lot of changes in my list and in everybody's list, I think, as the year goes on. But a decent draft, some very intriguing prospects, especially in Canada. I think it's strong in Canada, and that's always a good thing because teams like, you know, the majority of scouts are Canadian and North American, and they have no issue with drafting Canadians. You know, you pretty well know what you're getting. You're getting guys that are already that are gonna don't have a lot of adapting to do to play the pro game, because they kind of been brought up playing the North American style usually. So there's not that question mark of can they adapt to the smaller ice? Well, they don't have to make any adaptation in that regard. Can they adapt to the North American game? Well, they're North Americans, so they're already playing a North American game. So in that sense, you know, I think it's fairly safe. You know, you're gonna get players that you know are gonna play in the first round if that's the route you go, because a lot of them are North American playing a pro style, and you know that there's a good chance that they're gonna make the jump to the NHL someday. That's
it. Now you mentioned it's not particularly strong overseas. We know that in Sweden it's not that bad, right? Anton Frundell is a front runner. Victor Eklund as well has looked really, really good. Aside from those two, anybody else kind of standing out, or do you think it fizzles out pretty quickly?
That's the one country where I'd say it's decent in Europe, but Finland's been I've been pretty disappointed. Found one kid this week, and we'll be featuring him a little later on, which is always nice. There'll be a couple that come out of the woodwork. There always is, but like Slovakia, there's very little this year. Czech Republic, it's slim. Russia doesn't look, you know, it's not bad, but not as strong as last year, I don't think. You know, there's 4 or 5 guys that I think have a legitimate shot at the top 2 rounds at this point. But Russia's a place where, especially in the second half, you'll have a better idea. Right now, it's you know, we don't get to see too much of these guys, obviously. So, but yeah, I mean, I like Eddie Genberg in Sweden. Sasha Boumedienne is, you know, he's kind of Swedish US. I don't know, whatever you want to, whichever you want to judge him as. But Gastrine, I like Eric Nielsen, Drott. They've got a bunch. Like, there's a really nice forward group, and one of the strongest forward groups in Sweden in recent times for me. Hillstrom's a solid center. You know, you go down the list. Wozniak has disappointed, but he's still a decent prospect. So there's I like the depth at forward in Sweden this year, but there aren't any defensemen usually. You know, there's 4 or 5 guys that are in the mix for the top 50 in Sweden on defense, and it's an off year. It's an off year for Swedish defensemen, but they make up for it with their strength at forward.
Yeah, and now it's funny you mentioned defensemen, right? You said that Matthew Schaefer is one of the better defensemen to come out of the draft in recent years, and I agree. But beyond him, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got Logan Hensler who's stays in that conversation, but it seems to fizzle out very quickly for defensemen here.
Yeah, Jackson Smith, I think, is you know, he's a top 10 candidate. He's putting up good numbers, big kid. He's the other, you know, there's 3 that have kind of stood out. I like Blake Fiddler too in Edmonton, but beyond that, you know, maybe Boumedienne, Mertka, Aitchison. So it's not terrible, you know. There might be 6 or 7, and typically there's always guys, even that, you know, there's always guys I don't rank in the first round that get picked on the fence usually, because there's such a need and a value there. You know, like last year, Toronto picking the kid from Oshawa. Like, I didn't expect that, but hey, if you like them, you got the need, you're picking them, because if you think a guy can play top 4 minutes for you down the road, you jump on him. But if there's a position, well, goaltending again doesn't look very strong, but defense would be the one spot where I'd say that it looks a little thin in depth-wise at this point. The U.S. national development team typically has 4 or 5 guys that aren't too bad, but this year it's they're not they're not jumping out at aside from the big kid Amico maybe on defense. There's not a lot of discussion of any of these guys in the first round, other than maybe Trethaway, but he's been disappointing. So I think it's shaping up not to be a strong defense draft. So last year was the year to get the defenseman high.
That's it. We were talking about this all year. Like we even had a video dedicated to just how good this defensive draft class was. Levshunov, Dickinson, Ziv Buyam, Zane Perek, like Anton Salayev. At one point, you had him ranked number 1. It was a really strong defensive draft. So I guess in comparison, right, because we just saw a really strong defense draft, this one seems to be a bit underwhelming. But I think the best defenseman to come out of either draft has to be Matthew Schaefer. Like if he were in the last draft, he would have been the first defenseman picked, right? So there's a bit of a balance there, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know, like I think some of the defensemen were overrated in last year's draft too. So it could be just because 5 or 6 were taken in the top doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be great. We saw Juracek and Nemec go in the top 7 a couple of years back, and they're not looking like world beaters at this point. Both neither are even playing in the NHL, right? That doesn't mean that they won't be solid NHLers. They're young and it's early and all that stuff, but typically if you're going to be a very good NHL defenseman, you're at least playing at this point if you're in the in a team's organization. So there's work to do with those guys. I've done we did a show as well, looking at just how many busts there have been on defense through the years. I think it's the hardest to other than goaltending and defense are the toughest to nail. A lot of guys picked in the top 15 don't become top 15, guys that should have been picked in the top 15, because there's such a need and a value. If you do hit on it, you're set, right? You got a guy playing 20 to 25 minutes a game. There's such value in that, right?
Yeah.
Not many forwards play 20 to 25 minutes a game. So you get a lot of bang for your buck when you and you don't have to pay him as much typically either. It's always points, right? You can get a 25-minute defenseman. You're paying $5-6 million a year, that just plays 5-6 minutes more a game than the 80-point scoring winger, that's making 12 million or 10 million. Which does an NHL GM want? Well, I think they'd want the defenseman, right? They're picking the chicken. They got that salary cap to deal with, right? So it's just, they're so valuable. And but looks like center and right wing are the positions of real strength at this point. I look at my list, and in the top, if you list Frondell as a right winger, and that's where he's been playing predominantly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 of my top 17 are either center or right wing. So,
Jeez.
that's you know, that those are the positions of strength at this point and I mean there'll be some changes to the list and all that, but
Right. Yeah.
in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 of my top 20 are centers, or 15 or 16 of my top 20 are center or right wing.
Wow.
So if you're looking for a center or right wing, and I mean, that's like right wing is a position where there a lot of teams need guys in their top 6. Right wingers typically, you shoot right. That's not as common as guys that shoot left, unless you switch sides. So it's it looks like a really strong draft for right wingers. And
Yeah, I do, however, want to give a big thank you to the people over at Sport Buff. Okay. Sport Buff, you can shop all your sports licensed apparel, lifestyle apparel, including hoodies, caps, and tees. All right. I got the nice hat there with the Stanley Cup patch on the side. You can get that at Sport Buff. So all your favorite teams from all major leagues, you can get that at sportbuffshop.com. There's no sports. Sport Buff. I instinctively put the S in there. I don't know why, but it's sportbuffshop.com.
oh, you're getting good at it.
If you use code SICK10, you can get 10% off all their items. So we thank them for that, and you're welcome for telling you. And obviously can't forget the people over at MKProp RE. All right, if you're looking for a hat trick in real estate, Team MKProp RE delivers every time with 5-star Google reviews, professional photography to make your property shine, and unmatched West Island expertise. Helen and Franco's award-winning service guarantees that your real estate journey is a winning play, whether you're buying or selling. Okay, trust the team that makes every move a success. Call Helen and Franco at 514-915-1750. All right, Grant, I think it's time for our prospect of the week. And you teased him a little at the top here, but we're going to have a look at Jesper Kuta. Let's have a look.
Yeah. Kuta Kinte. He's a good looking. I was doing my, I go every couple of weeks. I go through the scoring leaders of each league, and had a look in Finland all year. I've been searching for, are there any draft eligible prospects in the top 10? Well, yes, there is, and it's Jesper Kuta. He's playing for IFK Helsinki. He's top 10 in scoring as a pure rookie in the U20 league in Finland. 6'2" center. And you can see by these highlights, he's a half decent skater for his size. There's work to be done on his skating, I think. Like any teenager, got to get a little more powerful, but I like his first few steps there. He's pretty quick for his size, but you can see by these highlights he's got some offensive potential. I like his all-around game, actually, and it's no surprise that he's IFK's top penalty killer. That's always impressive for a U20 rookie in any league, as are his point totals. I mean, he leads all IFK skaters in plus minus at +9, and is second in scoring. And again, as a rookie, he played in the U18 league in Finland last year. So to make that jump and to be, team's top center, top penalty killer, second leading scorer, best plus minus guy as a rookie. That tells you that this guy is on an upward trajectory.
Mhm.
And looking at him here, I was expecting, okay, good point totals, big kid. I bet you he can't skate very well. Well, his skating isn't bad. And, well, I guess maybe his defensive game isn't that good. Well, he competes away from the puck. He's smart. He's got good IQ. You know, they use him on the penalty kill extensively. He's got good defensive stats. So, no, he checks off that box. Well, how's his passing? Yeah, well, he's got 11. Look at this, say. He was dominant on that shift, and then ended it off with the nice goal. But I like his defensive positioning. He there he steals the puck there. Should have got the pass here. I don't know why the guy. Anyway, he gave it to the wrong guy, but he could have had a hat trick in this game. He scored 2 goals. That would have been the second if he got the feed. But he's not afraid to go to the dirty areas. He goes to the front of the net, tips passes. I had a look at his goals, and he had a variety of them. He's a very good one-timer, so I like his shot. There he is in front of the net, hard to move. And again, nice tip there. Almost scored another one right there. But, he's an October birthday, so he's a little off the radar, having never competed for Finland International before this season. So, we didn't see him, obviously, at the Helenka. He did play in one U20 event this season. And in 3 games, he picked up 4 goals and an assist.
Oh. Unfortunately,
they don't have the tournament, any details or the games on Huddle In Stats, so wasn't able to look at them, but that's pretty impressive. I looked at, all their U20 players this year, and none are over a goal a game, obviously. 4 goals in 3 games is very impressive, and none have, 1.67 points per game either. So this is a draft eligible kid playing on the U20 team and being their most efficient scorer so far. That tells you, this kid's on an upward trajectory. I didn't even, again, just like the Prokhorov kid a couple of years ago, wasn't on my radar, and go and have a look, and I'm impressed. Here he is on the PK, just good positioning. He gets his stick in the passing lanes. He hustles, stays between the puck and the player, which is all good stuff, defensively. I wouldn't call him a bruiser, but he isn't shy about going to the dirty areas. He goes to the net. He'll finish checks. There's a good, good attempt to get into the net. You got to get stronger, just like any 6'2" kid, teenager. But I just, I had a look at this game, and he checked off all the boxes for me.
Yeah.
Here are his goals. That was the highlights of his last game. Check out this one-timer. He's got a really nice one-timer. He's scored. What I like is that he's scored goals in a bunch of different ways too. Going to the net, finishing off plays with the give and go, deflecting shots for goals. Look at the shot. He's got a great shot. Not just a one-timer, but just a shot in general. Very good. He's got a good release, accurate shot. Again, here's the, he's got good hands in tight. Here's a shootout goal that he got. So he's got decent hands, but his hockey sense looks decent. He competes okay, solid away from the puck. He positions himself well, doesn't cheat defensively. And And again, the one-timer, bing. He's, I like this one too.
Yeah.
Got in there.
Good
Bing.
wheels.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, for his age, for his size, his skating, I don't think is a drawback. And I was expecting that. Like, 6'2" kid, stats like that, draft year. Okay, what's the issue? Well, I don't see a lot of them. At this point, I don't know that I've seen a Finnish prospect that I like better. That could change, but I see a guy that's in the in the mix for the second round. Certainly third, top three, and
Value.
I mean, if he keeps going like this, goes to some U20 events and gets some more points, who knows? Maybe he's a first rounder. Like, big kid that can, with all those tools. That's when there's no red flags. That's always a bonus. There's no weaknesses to his game that I
Right.
can see. So I think this is a guy that's you're going to see all of a sudden second half, you start hearing about. I don't know if he'll be invited to Finland's U20 camp or not. Probably because he's only played 3 games. Probably not. But hey, 4 goals and an assist in those 3 games. That they certainly know about him. And if he ends up being, because Finland's not that strong. Like, they're not going to have a strong World Junior team. If he ends up playing at the World Juniors, then okay, he's no longer a sleeper. He's no longer my wild card. He'll be jumping to the top of the class. But I think you'll see as time goes along here, the central scouting, etc., will start to get a beat on this kid, because there's a lot to like there. And for that, he's my prospect of the week. He's my sleeper of the week. He's my pet prospect of the week. However you want to call it, that he's the guy this week. So
absolutely
glad to find another one, and finally one in Finland that I like. So
yeah, no, I mean, the profile checks off a lot of boxes, right? He's responsible 2 ways. He's got good skating, good size, good hands, good shot. I don't know. We might start hearing Jesper Kuta a whole lot more going forward. That's Kuhta for those who want to do more research on him. We encourage you to do so. Develop your own opinions, right? You can listen to us and make up your opinions from what we say, but we do encourage the viewers to
no. Listen to what we tell you.
Yeah,
we're the experts here.
That's it. Jesper Kuta is the prospect, sleeper, whatever you want to call him, of the week. Well deserved. Now, I did say we have 2 honorable mentions this week, and we'll start with Riker Lee.
That's a good hockey name, right?
It is.
Riker played against the U17 national development team, and he had a 4-goal game, and this is it.
Hello.
He has got really good hands, and just to score goals with that shot. Wicked shot. I love his shot. As you can tell just by this, even the skating, that's going to be the issue. But you give him any space, the puck's going in the net. Great shot and great hands. So 2 games against the this game where he had 4 goals and an assist, they won 12-1. So wouldn't be I didn't break down the tape on the whole game, because those are the games that you don't do that with. You want a tight game. But the other game was 5-4, and he he scored the game winner right here. Ding. But he's got, you can tell by this, like, his shot is is his bread and butter. He is tied for the lead in USHL in goals and points. 10 goals, 21 points in 17 games. again, for a draft eligible guy in a league that's typically older, that's always impressive. 6 foot, so size isn't an issue. Those highlights show just how good his hands are, and that shot. That's just he'll score goals in college. Now, if the definitely needs work on the skating, I don't. I'll get more feedback from the NHL guys that are seeing him in the rink. It's tough. They've got blue numbers on blue sweaters, and it just drives me crazy. Just it's really hard to watch these guys on video because 3/4 of the time you can't tell the number.
Yeah.
I know what position he plays, and if you have to be right there, rapt attention the whole time, or you lose the guy, right? And it's tough. It's tough to scout. I'll be looking at the games where they're wearing white sweaters, which isn't often enough, but so I'm going to get a lot of feedback from guys seeing them live, and it's always easier to judge skating in a live setting, especially mechanics. It's the one part that isn't always easy to identify on video, especially grainy video. But it's obvious just from video scouting that skating is his weakness, and it'll have to come. But he keeps leading the USHL in scoring. If he has a 4-goal game against the U18 team when the building's full of scouts, they'll be inching him up further and further in the second round. I've had him in the second all season, late. I didn't have him on my first list, but he was like 51 because I only did a top 50. Well, he might be. We're getting, the end of November here. I'll be doing my next list, and you might see him in the next list because I'll probably expand it to 60 or more. And I can't see him not being in there. He's earned it, and he's one of the more exciting U.S.-based prospects this year.
Love it. Riker Lee, name to keep an eye on for sure. Great shot. That's
he does.
That's impressive. So he's our first honorable mention of the week, and our second is Grant. He's one of your favorite prospects so far, and I can see why. It's Carter Bear.
Yeah, it's the Bear. He's he's doing it again. He had 5 goals, 9 points in his last 4 games.
Wow.
Second in the WHL in scoring to the phenom McKenna. But again, you can see his shot is great. I love his he's just always around the puck. He got an assist on this, and actually since they've taken it away, and I was wondering because he never touched the puck. But I noticed finally last night that it was down to 1 assist, but too late. Actually, I've noticed it today. Already did the video, but look at this. He's got sweet hands. Snuck that through, right in close. Love his skating. Love his competitiveness. He there again, the hands. That takes good hands.
Yeah.
You ever score one like that, Shane?
Never. I was a defenseman. I didn't score many goals.
Yeah. Check this out. The finish here.
Oh.
What a backhand. I really hope that he has a good top prospects thing. I think consolidated rankings, they have him like 48th or something like that.
Wow.
And there's just no way. This kid's a first round guy all day. I've got him top 15. The skating, I think he's one of the better skaters in the draft. I think his wheels, his motor is one of the best in the draft. In his last 13 games, he has 24 points, including 3 3-point games and a 4-point game. He's on Everett's top line with Miettinen, and they also kill penalties together on the top unit. His Corsi is at 60%. 19 goals, 18 assists in 21 games, second in the WHL in scoring. Like, wake up, people. Wake up, independent scouts. This is not a guy that should be 48th consolidated rankings. He's first rounder all day for me. I know he wears number 11, so there's sometimes you get, he reminds me of this guy because he wears number 11, but Iginla, I keep going back to Iginla. Maybe he doesn't have Iginla shot, few do, but just the motor, the always around the puck, always creating offense, the speed, similar size. There's a lot of similarities, I find it, between him and Iginla. Now, Iginla went, top 6? So, having him in the top 15, for me, is not a stretch at all. I've had him in there for a month now, and he's not moving. Well, I'm not taking him out of there. That's for sure.
If anything, he goes up.
Well, yeah, he might go up to 11 or 10 or whatever, but we'll get a better idea, I guess, at the that top prospects thing. But I just I've gotten to see Everett a lot. They're on late, like 11 o'clock, and I typically, got the TV to myself at that point, right? Everyone's gone to bed, and I'm getting some WHL viewing in there, and I've seen a pile of Everett, and every time I see this kid, I like him. So that is a good sign. He's consistently creating offense, consistently exciting, consistently getting points. So I love him. That's probably the third time that I featured him in at the very least honorable mention. But he's earned it.
Yeah, he won't be the last either.
No,
he's gonna be back.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
he's something special there. Carter Bear. Now, Grant, I'm curious. Is there any area in his game that you'd like to see improvement on, or that maybe concerns you a little bit? Because you look at the numbers, he's second in the WHL behind Gavin McKenna, who is like superstar, right? Like, he's putting up the points, he's doing the little things. Why is he not higher?
Yeah. No, that's one of the reasons why I like him so much is he's I don't think there's any weaknesses there.
Wow.
I mean, he's not prototypical size. He's a little undersized from what the NHL average is. If there's anything that you might, but with his compete and speed, motor, not Iginla is a little undersized too. Did that hurt him on draft day? No. So why should it hurt this kid? He reminds me of Seth Jarvis in a lot of ways. Seth Jarvis is 5'10" and a half. This kid's 6 foot. So, no, not so far anyway. I'm, good defensively, good offensively, good skater, competes, motor, smart, really smart, always around the puck. So good shot. Again, checks off all the boxes, and that's, as a scout, I love when I can do that, and when I do, I rank a guy accordingly.
That's it. He's sure looking like our riser this year.
Oh,
I mean, last year we remember Iginla, right? He wasn't even in the first round conversation, went 6th, and then Beckett Seneca was a huge riser. He went 3rd, and you were on that pretty early. So keep an eye on Carter Bear. He's doing special things there.
Yeah. He's not lackadaisical, that's for sure.
No, sir. He works hard. He works hard, and he's damn good. And you'll get to see him in action November 26th and 27th. Okay, CHL versus USNTDP, 2 games. That's going to be a lot of fun and great for us as well. We got our work cut out for us. We know what we're talking about next week, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to watch that. Before we head off, however, do want to say a few words about a partner with the Sick Network. They cover not just the Recruits Draftcast, but the eye test as well, and Tony Marinaro. So we want to thank Betway for their support. Betway is a leading global online betting and gaming brand. Follow your gut instinct. Go with Betway. Go on betway.com. You can scan that QR code on the screen to join the action. You must be 18 plus, and of course, play responsibly. I know Jimmy Murphy on the eye test. He's been struggling with his sick picks. So don't bet whatever Jimmy's telling you to bet, but at least not for now. He'll get back on track soon enough. But it's all in good fun, and yeah, bet responsibly, very important. Grant, very good show. That was a lot of fun. Anything else you want to add before we head off?
No, I'm just gonna head out and get some antibiotics for Tina there, get her fixed up, and hopefully next show everybody's healthy and happy.
Love it. Yep, we're hoping for that. And speaking of next show, we'll be back Sunday for our usual Habs Prospect of the Week show. And you know what, Grant, I'll have a bit of cool insights because I'll be at the game tomorrow night, Saturday, against the Vegas Golden Knights. Obviously, no prospects that we're going to talk about, but we're gonna talk about Habs anyway. So I'll be at the game. If anybody is at the game, I'll be in section 119. If you run into me, please say hi. I'd love to chat some hockey with you all. I know we got a really, really smart following. We check the comments. We know that you people know your stuff, right? So by all means, flag me down. I'll be happy to chat with you all. Grant, that'll do it for us today. Again, we'll be back Sunday for our Habs show. We thank you all for tuning in, for supporting us. Make sure you're subscribed, leave a like, leave a comment, all the good stuff. So for Grant McCagg, I'm producer Shane, and don't forget to follow us on Blue Sky as well. Okay, the better version of Twitter.
That's right.
Because Twitter sucks. Actually, you know what? X sucks. It used to be good, but it's no longer good. We have a ton of issues with them. Yeah, not good. Anyways, Blue Sky.
I just got a text from Larry Robinson.
Subtle flex there. Yeah,
he's
not bad.
I interviewed him twice now. 18. I've transcribed everything. Finished it yesterday. 18,000 words so far. Like,
ooh,
just from Larry. So I got the basis of almost of a full book just from Larry for my next one. So that'll be, I'm really looking forward to it. That'll be a really huge part of my next book. And wow. I just started writing it today. So I was asking him if you always want to clarify a few things, right? And about I guess he had a 72 Corvette. He used to have a Corvette shop called Dingies. I guess there might be some Montrealers that know what I'm talking about, but it was close to the Forum. And actually he brought his brother Mo in to run the mechanical end of things there for a few years. And Mo became a mechanic after he retired from the AHL, which is kind of cool. But he had him and the wife both had vets in the early 70s, and he said he rode his off in an accident. But anyway, I found this picture on the internet because I was trying to get the name of the Corvette shop. And then there was a picture of, I bought this from Larry Robinson and blah, blah, blah. And I was asking Larry about that. And I guess it was his wife's Corvette. So must be nice to be able to have a pair of Corvettes, back in the day. He was living the high life, put it that way, and deservedly so.
Absolutely. One of the best to ever do it. Larry B. That's amazing. Yeah. Keep an eye on Grant's book. Geez, that's something right there.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated there. I'll probably put up a little excerpt on the Sick Pod, like, part of the first chapter or something when we get closer to the publishing date and stuff. But I probably next Christmas I'll get the book out. That's the hope, to get it out by next Christmas. It's too late this year. You got to have it out you don't have it out by 1st of November, you miss the boat.
Yeah.
So.
That's it. Amazing. Well, you know what? A friend of the show, not our show, but the Sick Network, Serge Savard, released his book, The Greatest Dynasty. So he was on the Knuckles podcast. He was also on Tony's podcast. You know, if he ever wants to come on ours, we'll gladly take him. But we do want to thank our friend Serge Savard and promote his book, their Greatest Dynasty. Go check that out. Thank you for reminding me, Grant. So that'll be it for us today. For Grant McCagg, I'm producer Shane. This has been another edition of the Sick Podcast Recruits Draftcast. Have a good weekend, everyone. Take care.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Recruits Draftcast on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.